So if I was asked the regular hockey fan, since the mid-1970s, who's the most hated man in hockey? Makes you want to think. Where did this all begin with Mike Milbury being so despised? Was it self-inflicted? Was it the fact that he was involved in some major on and ice incidents during the Montreal Canadiens dynasty years of the 70s, where Boston was challenging them? Was it because of his immature attitude as in the management and coaching for Boston the Islanders, or the many mauvaises situations avec le ESPN, as we say in English, the bad situations? He's made controversial comments as a commentator through the years. No doubt he was a good player, but if you got a 5-cent brain in relation to what your opinions are, where most of the opinions only make sense to yourself, you must be Mike Milbury. Now, Michael James Milbury, born in Brighton, Massachusetts, July 17, 1952, entered the NHL as an undrafted defender, 6'2", 205. Now, he started in 1974 after a strong collegiate career. Now, during his post-NHL career, where he played all his games with the Bruins, he served as an assistant GM under Harry Sinden and head coach for Boston, as well as a GM and head coach for the Islanders. He also served as a television color commentator and analyst for the NHL on NBC from 2007 to 2021 until he was let go earlier this year. Now, at Colgate University, a strong university squad, he was a 3-year letterman from 72 to 74. Now, he wore uniform number 7 and was the team's co-leader in assists with 19 in his junior year. As senior captain, he had his best season with the Red Raiders with 30 points, including 4 goals in the senior campaign. He also led the squad in penalty minutes in both years with 68 and 73 and 85 and 74. His totals in 76 games played included 61 points, including 6 goals, and 203 minutes in penalties. Now, immediately after the conclusion of his college hockey career, Milbury played in 5 games with the Boston Braves, the Bruins' top farm team. In 74, he signed with the Bruins as a free agent on November 5th of that season, and spent the next 2 campaigns with the Rochester Americans, the team's new AHL affiliate. In both years, he led the club in penalty minutes with 246 and 75 and 199 and 76, finishing 4th and 3rd respectively in the AHL. Now, he wasn't really what I considered an enforcer or a dirty player. He would just basically get into a lot of shit during his games. Now, Milbury was eventually promoted to the Bruins late in the 76 season, playing 11 of 12 Stanley Cup playoff matches. Prior to the following NHL year, he was a member of the United States team at the inaugural 1976 Canada Cup, getting a goal and 3 assists in 5 contests. Now, he had some weird conversations with the Quebec media during that time, and it led to some more bizarre comments. Like during the years between Montreal and Boston in the playoffs, he said more than once that Guy Lafleur was overrated, and that he would have personally take care of Guy Lafleur and the other high scorers on the team, which of course it didn't happen. Now, in his first 3 full years with the Bruins, his heavily aggressive style of play was a perfect fit for the overachieving team coached by Don Cherry, which also features similar tough players such as Terry O'Reilly, John Wensink, and Stan Johnson. Now, Milbury helped his team reach consecutive Stanley Cup finals in 77 and 78, with Boston losing both of them to the Habs, of course, in 4 and 6 games, respectively. Now, in these 12 seasons as a defenseman for the Bruins, he appeared in the playoffs 11 times. He had more than 200 minutes in penalties in 81 with 222, and 1983 with 216, and surpassed 100 total 600 times. He was also the club's representative with the NHLPA and was outspoken on several controversial issues, notably the role of Alan Eagleson. Now, the big incident, of course, that we all remember from that, what he called that Montreal-Boston rivalry era, was a 4-3 victory over the Rangers at MSG on December 23rd, 79. Now, during an on-ice incident between players from both sides, a Rangers fan cut Stan Johnson's face with a rolled-up program and grabbed his hockey stick. Terry O'Reilly climbed over the plexiglass and went to the stands in pursuit of a defender, followed by Peter McNabb and other squad mates. Milbury, who had actually reached the visitors' locker room when his teammates started going in the stands, raced back to join his colleagues in the brawl. He caught the unruly spectator, removed one of his shoes, and while holding the heel in, slapped him hard once with the sole side before being restrained. I think he struck him at least 2 or 3 times. Now, subsequently, NHL President John Ziegler suspended O'Reilly for 8 games and McNabb and Milbury for 6, while with each being fined $500. The incident also resulted in the installation of higher glass panels enclosing rinks and hockey arenas, and of course, no more chicken wire. Now, in his coaching career, he became the head coach of the Bruins in the 1990 season, leading the team to the President's Trophy and an appearance in the Stanley Cup Finals. He was named Executive of the Year by the Sporting News. He was also the head coach of the Wales Conference team at the 91 All-Star Game, where he generated some controversy by including enforcer Chris Nolan and checker Brian Scruglin and headed players such as Kirk Muller and Guy Lafleur. However, Nolan and Scruglin both missed the game due to injury. As a result of Milbury's controversial roster picks, the league's board of governors changed their policy so that future teams would be chosen by committee. Now, on March 30th, 1994, Boston College announced that Milbury would take over as the head coach of the hockey team, replacing Steve Sidorchuk. However, Milbury abruptly left the job at Boston College before coaching a game, citing philosophical differences with the school's athletics department in a press conference held on June 2nd, 1994. BC eventually hired legendary coach Jerry York, then the head coach at Bowling Green University, to replace Milbury, while Milbury took work as a television analyst. Now, Milbury was eventually hired as the Islanders head coach in 95, and within 3 months became the GM as well, but he turned the coaching duties over to Rick Bowness in January 97. During several years that Milbury served as Islanders GM, the team's ownership mandated that he operate the team on an austere budget. In 1999, he was forced to trade star scorer Zygmunt Palffy because team owners no longer wanted to pay his multi-million contract. However, Milbury has also been criticized for the many seemingly poor decisions he made in which payroll or orders from upper management were not factors. Many young players and prospects that Milbury traded away went on to have distinguished careers, often eclipsing those of the players who received in return. He traded away defensemen Zdeno Chara, Wade Redden, Brian Berard, Eric Brewer, Darius Kasparaitis, and Brian McCabe. Goalies Roberto Luongo and Tommy Salo, as well as forwards Olli Jokinen, Todd Bertuzzi, Tim Connolly, Jean-Pierre Dumas, and Raffi Torres. Milbury has also come under fire for his poor draft day decisions, such as choosing the monetarily unnecessary Rick DiPietro, first overall in 2000, over Danny Heatley and Marian Gaborik, as well as the decision to include the 2001 second overall draft pick, Jason Spezza, as part of the infamous Alexei Yashin trade. Now, in June 2006, he stepped down as Islanders GM to accept a position as Senior Vice President of Charles Wang's Sports Holdings. In an appearance on the Mike and Mad Dog show, Wang did not challenge the suggestion from the host that he fired Milbury. Milbury resigned from his senior VP job in May 2007. He said that he missed making hockey-related decisions and would be open to a hockey operations job in another organization. Now, he was a commentator from numerous networks, including NESN, NBC, and Versus, plus TSN, and was also hired as a studio analyst for the 2008 season. He also served as a studio analyst for the Bruins, and for the past 2 years, he has participated in the broadcast of the Winter Classic. Now, in July 2008, he signed a 2-year contract with CBC's Hockey Night in Canada. He also served as color commentator for NHL and NBC telecasts involving the Boston Bruins with Kenny Albert and Emmy Award-winning Inside the Glass reporter Pierre Maguire. In 2009, Milbury twice stated that a ban on fighting would lead to the pacification of the NHL, and in so doing upset Egal Canada, a gay rights group. Now, his John McEnroe type of outspoken comments made certain sense, but others were just self-centered and egotistical, especially with his comments about women. Now, since joining NBC, he has made several comments and jokes about and at the expense of women and women in hockey. In 2011, he returned to Vancouver Canucks twin stars Daniel Sedin and Henrik Sedin as Telman Louise. Henrik responded with a jab at Milbury for trading Roberto Luongo as GM of the Islanders when Daniel said, "I don't know how he looks at women. I would be pretty mad if I was a woman." Commenting on an April 2012 game between the Penguins and Flyers, he said that then Penguins coach Dan Bleasma should have taken off his skirt and got over the Flyers bench to confront his counterpart, Peter Laviolette. In August 2020, Milbury made more disparaging comments about women during the Stanley Cup playoffs, which he defended in July 2021 and ultimately led to his firing by NBC. Now, Milbury's also received criticism for comments he has made over PK Subban, who was black, former Montreal Canadian, in 2017. In April, Milbury called Subban a clown, and he said he deserved a rap on the head from his head coach for his pregame routine, which included dancing on the ice during warm-ups, comments which were viewed by several outlets as racist. During a 2017 Stanley Cup Finals game in June between Subban's Predators and the Pens, Subban and Sidney Crosby engaged in a fight that ended with Subban's head bouncing off the ice. Milbury said after the game that Subban had it coming. When the series moved to Nashville, several fans talked to Milbury over his comments, including some who claim NBC tried to bribe them with a hat in returning for handing over their signs that were cynical of Milbury, which might be picked up on camera. Now, his denouement was during the 2020 Stanley Cup playoffs, where he made a series of controversial comments that attracted a wide range of ire, from mockery to calls for him to lose his job with NBC. Now, during an August 4th game between the Leafs and the Jackets, Maple Leafs defenseman Jake Muzzin suffered an injury that Milbury believed he was faking. Milbury encouraged him to stay on the ice and attempt to draw a whistle. Muzzin was ultimately carried off the ice in a stretcher. Now, following a 5-overtime sudden death game between the Lightning and Jackets on August 11th, Milbury tweeted that the NHL needed to adopt either a shootout or a 3-on-3 format to speed up overtime in the playoffs. USA Today wrote that in the comments, he encapsulated what Milbury has been like during the Stanley Cup playoffs: out of touch, ill-prepared, and an absolute embarrassment. Now, on August 15th, Milbury criticized the decision made by Tuukka Rask and the Bruins to opt out of the playoffs in the middle of a series, saying nobody simply opted to leave the bubble just because they didn't want to be here and they needed to be with their family. This followed comments Milbury had made 2 weeks earlier, where he claimed to be a fan of Rask while questioning his commitment to hockey after watching an interview in which Rask talked about changing his newborn daughter's diapers. It was revealed that days later, on August 19th, that a medical emergency involving Rask's daughter drove him to leave the team. Now, 5 days later, on August 20th, while calling a game between the Capitals and the Islanders, he praised the playoff bubble system designed to isolate teams during the COVID pandemic because there were not even any women here to disrupt your concentration. His comments received quick condemnation from the NHL, and Milbury apologized the next day, and NBC released a statement saying the issue had been addressed, though he did not publicly elaborate any further, nor did he indicate whether Milbury would face any discipline. The Washington Post reported that NBC had removed Milbury from that evening's broadcast schedule and did not announce the following weekend's broadcast themes until Saturday morning. Milbury announced on August 22nd that he would be stepping away from the booth for the remainder of the playoffs so as not to be a distraction. On January 11, 2021, NBC announced that Milbury's tenure with the network was done and he would not be part of its broadcast lineup for the 2021 NHL season, which was its last. So was he fired because NBC last year to save contract, or he didn't need him? Hard to tell. But Milbury, when he's not being an idiot, he can be a good commentator, but he makes it about himself, which a lot of journalists do, but not as much of a continuous basis as Milbury has. Now, months after apologizing for calling women distractions, Milbury doubled down on his original comments in an interview with the Boston Globe, saying, "I didn't feel like I was offending anybody. Has your wife ever been a distraction in your life? I hope you give me the right blank answer." While also wondering if it would have been better if he had said dogs instead of women. Now, more errors of thought. In December 2011, Milbury was charged on 3 counts stemming from an incident taking place on December 9, 2011 during a Pee Wee hockey game with his coaching. Assault and battery on a child, threats to commit a crime, and disorderly conduct. He was never arrested. According to the Boston Herald, Milbury was an assistant coach for the Bach Blazers Pee Wee hockey team, intervened in a fight on the ice during a game between his own son and a 12-year-old boy from the other squad. Milbury allegedly charged out onto the rink and verbally berated and grabbed and shook the 12-year-old opposing player. The boy's mother described Milbury's actions as horrific, while his father accused Milbury of grabbing and shaking his son and lifting him above the ice for 30 seconds. Milbury, through his lawyer, denied all charges. The owner of the Blazers defended Milbury's actions, saying he was told Milbury did everything right. He didn't touch any kid inappropriately. NBC and Milbury reached a mutual agreement to take Milbury off air while he dealt with the situation. Now, Milbury eventually appeared before a clerk magistrate in Brookline's District Court in late December 2011 to answer the charge. After a closed-door hearing which lasted several hours, the magistrate determined there wasn't enough evidence to sustain any of the 3 charges, which were all dropped. Milbury expressed gratitude for the court's findings and affirmed that he believed the actor responsible as the supervisor of the ice and claimed the referee had already left the rink and said he would do the same thing if the situation arose in the future. So all around, not say controversy, but extreme stress trying to basically understand why Milbury does this. But like I said, no denying his talent, and he's an okay coach and general manager, but trading all those players, he was like a really bad NFL owner, and not as smart as he thinks he is, and that's pretty well, most of the media thinks the same way. Now, again, how did he get in Colgate? I'll tell you why. He played with the Walpole Rebels of the Massachusetts high school system in '72. Then again, the 2 seasons with Colgate. Then again, Boston for 5 games. Rochester in '75. Bruins for 3 games in '76. With 11 games in the playoffs, of course. And last season in Rochester, we had 18 points. Games with the Bruins, pretty well a solid defenseman, although he was hampered by injuries in '82 and '86. Best campaign for a lot of people, of course, was that '78 Stanley Cup final run, 25.4 points in 77 games, including 6 goals. Now, Canada Cup, 4 points in 5 games. Initial coaching record, lost in the finals in 1990, 46-25-9 the regular season. Two tenures as New York Islanders coach, where he was GM. Took over in '98 as well, and '99 again returned to GM's role. So gone, coming back, gone, coming back. Final NHL totals: 238 points in 754 games, 49 goals, and the 9 goals in the '83 season, another big total. 1,552 penalty minutes. So 750 games played. Now, if you like Mike Milbury, that's fine. If you don't like him, that's fine. But I knew something was going on when he was basically saying, he would put Guido Fleury in their place. A lot of Boston players have tried to put Montreal players in their place. See, Terry O'Reilly could back it up. Ray Bourque could back it up. Jean Rattel could back it up. Brad Park could back it up. Wayne Cashman could back it up. My not say my pal, but my colleague who I've interviewed before, Rick Middleton, could back it up. Stan Johnson. Mike Milbury couldn't back it up without those players backing it up for him. So he's mounting off. You wouldn't hear Don Marcotte saying, I'm going to put Lafleur in his place. Not going to happen. But I know if you're a New York Islander fan, you don't like Mike Milbury. It goes deep, especially DiPietro and getting rid of Luongo. If you're not a Milbury fan, let us know. Mike Milbury, give me the 5 reasons why you don't like Mike Milbury. I can give you my personal 5. Egotism, self-centeredness, he's holier than thou. He thinks everybody else is stupid, and he can't back it up. He has no Stanley Cup rings, ladies and gentlemen. None. When he says something, that's fine, but is he there as a character? He came to prominence by just jumping in the crowd and being part of a brawl that gets played, in the TSN top 10 every night. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, that's my take on Mike Milbury. If you like what we're doing, give us a like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.